Wonderful. Can the
Okay,
stream hear you?
I don't know yet. I guess I'll find out soon.
W-
Hopefully.
Well, worst case scenario, the clips are backed up, so we'll just put the
Okay,
audio on top and then it won't go out on the live stream, but in all of the clips will be good.
that's okay. They can just watch my mouth move instead.
We'll find a way. Don't worry. Like, audio's good. I can hear you. They can hear you.
Okay, cool.
We'll work it out. Zara, it's a
That
pleasure.
sounds great.
Let's do this
Yeah,
again.
it is a pleasure. Let's try again. Go on.
Tell me about you. Tell me about the business.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Zara. I'm CEO and co-founder of Bigged, and we basically help brands streamline their creative production and optimization for paid social. And we do that with a part human, part AI workflow. And yeah, I think that's the nutshell of what it is that we're doing.
I love it. Is Big the first company or Big the second company?
Bigged is the second company. Well, the second company that we've brought to revenue. So
Tell me about the first one, and then we'll
of
get into
course.
Big.
Yeah, of course. So it was an AI video editor called Choppity, and it was basically for repurposing long to short form. And we bootstrapped that to 150K ARR, and we're actually currently in due diligence to exit that right now. And Big kind of stemmed from our journey with Choppity. So about a year ago, an agency came to us asking us to do exactly what it is that we're doing now. They basically asked us to create some tech that allowed them to generate alternative pieces of content and variants, and then automatically stitch all of those things together and then run them and optimize them and then extract insights and feed that back into the generation. And at first when they told us about it, we thought, yeah, it sounds interesting, but let's just like build Choppity and then see where that takes us. And then come to, I think, February it was, we started running our own ads for Choppity, and it was just such a pain that I basically said to Aaron, can you please build something that I can use in-house? Like, that would just save me a massive headache. And he said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And as we started building it, we realized how big of a thing it was. And so we started speaking to more brands, and we realized how much of a pain point it was. And we started reading about, you know, kind of, there were a couple things that were coming into play, like Meta's Andromeda was released last year, which basically favors as many creative variants as possible in order to do creative-led targeting as opposed to audience targeting, which is what was traditionally used. And then we also realized that, you know, paid social was becoming more and more expensive, because as you're seeing the growth rates of these social platforms plateau, you're essentially paying to show your content to the same number of eyeballs, which means that your content needs to be optimized more than ever. And similar to other brands, we were in a situation where we were a very lean team and we just didn't have the capacity to produce the content at scale. So we were like, okay, let's build on this. And we took a bit of a break because it takes a really long time to sell a company.
Really?
And so, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so long. There's like.
Do you mind me
all of the
asking, what are you
negotiations.
selling exactly? Are you selling the underlying asset, the underlying technology, or are you just selling the brand and the IP to Choppity?
We're selling everything except for the company itself. So
Got it.
it's
Okay.
what you end up doing is you sell everything until you've got like a shell of a company that's just holding cash, and then you dissolve that, and then basically that's it. So they end up taking all of the brand, all of the customers, all of the tech, all of the IP, like everything ends up belonging to the buyer, but we just keep the shell essentially.
How
And then
very interesting.
dissolve that. Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to do it in terms of, I mean, legally it's like the easiest way to do it, but it's also the best way for the buyer because it means that they don't assume any of the liabilities, any of the debt, any of the kind of legal shit that goes on. And so the only thing they take is like everything that's kind of the functioning business, and then they just absorb that.
Okay, I don't know how you've glossed over this, but Dragon's Den,
Yeah.
like,
Dragon's
what
Den.
was that process like?
that was really intense.
It's like, oh, I was on TV. I'm not going to mention it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's just kind of become a part of a thing. It's similar to like Aaron and I being married. Like oftentimes people ask us about it, and I'm like, I just forget sometimes. I guess like it's just such a normal thing that you just forget.
Was it
And
fun?
so- yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was really interesting though because it was a bit of an experiment for them and for us because they don't usually have tech products come on the show, and so it was very much. I mean, it was Aaron and I in a room with a screen, so we had no like display to hide behind and no nothing tangible.
I've heard the walk is incredibly long.
It really is, but it's also interesting because they make you rehearse it, and so
Oh, so you've got to do it
kind of on
multiple
autopilot.
times.
Yeah. But you do it multiple times to like an empty room, so it doesn't feel so intimidating, when you finally do it and the dragons are all sitting there.
Love it. Let me talk about big. Let's get into it. Meta's
Yeah,
Andromeda.
go on,
Like,
let's do it.
what was the thesis behind like seeing that and then going, right, we're going to help you build ads or generate ads at scale that are deeply creative?
Honestly, there were multiple factors behind it. Like at first, when we were talking about building it, we were talking about building it as an extension of Choppity.
Right.
But then when we started looking into it, we realized it just didn't make sense because the customers that we have at Choppity have still kind of in due diligence, knocking wood. The customers that we have are very different than the customers that Big is serving, essentially. And it's very different type of content, even though it's still in creative tooling, which is tech that we're incredibly comfortable with, and it's still in automation and AI, again, all tech that we're very comfortable with. There were just very many things that felt very different to the business model particularly. And the change was kind of it was an easy decision to make, just in terms of how much we were observing the ad space changing and how quickly as well, and how much opacity there was within both the existing tooling and then also the platforms. Like they give you like an overview of what's going on, but they don't actually tell you the nitty gritty, and so you're kind of left having to deduce on your own what it is that's happening. And so if you can essentially leverage tech to help you deduce, that's just like, it's just great. Like the opportunity just felt too big.
I love it. Talk to me about like how you go about building something like this today. Is it that it's just an automation, or do you keep humans in the loop? Because creative is still like incredibly human at this moment in time. Like, don't get me wrong, the models are nuts. Like Runway, I think Runway just released one a couple of days ago, Alephi or Aleph. Like it's insane with what you can do. But then also the statics are just even better at this moment in time.
Yeah, totally. But one of the things that we noticed, right, so when we started out, we first were like, okay, well, let's just use AI for everything. Let's use AI for the generation of assets. And even in our demo video, we point this out, like the stuff that Stable Diffusion produces is just not good for production.
Why?
Like, there are too many. So if you think about Stable Diffusion, how it works, and Aaron will talk more about this in more detail because, even though I'm technical, he actually lives and breathes this stuff. So he actually wrote his dissertation on an alternative way of generating graphic design layouts that doesn't use Stable Diffusion. But if you ever use ChatGPT or any other machine learning model in order to generate images, what you'll notice is that at first it starts off with this like kind of blurry like image, and then very, very slowly it adds detail until it becomes very clear, and then it's a very detailed image. And what happens is the model actually paints every pixel on the screen every single time from scratch. So if you feed it a logo or a product, it will do its best to reference it and to replicate it, but it's always going to be replicating it. It won't be taking exactly the thing that you fed it. And that's just inherently a problem, because if you've got a product, then that product needs to appear exactly how your product looks. Otherwise, you're kind of selling something that it isn't. And so we very quickly realized, both through talking to brands and also looking at consumer reactions on content that had been Stable Diffusion generated, that it would just tank performance for brands. And we spoke to quite a lot of companies that are building AI generative tooling for static ads, and their churn rates are just ridiculously high. Like we're talking like 90% for many of these tools.
We're sort of in this era of like just sort of feeling the vibes, and they go in different directions. Like I'll try this for a month and then I'll change and move into something else quite quickly. Do you find that do you find that you're gonna have that with Big straight out the box?
No, and the primary reason for that is that until we've built the conditional, I was about to use the tech term for it, until we've built the graphic design layout generation that doesn't use Stable Diffusion, that requires a little bit of R&D, and it's something that we've started on, and it's active in the background. We're basically using humans to fulfill that. So right now, humans take anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour to create a static. We can streamline a whole bunch of that, and we have. That's what's built into the product. So we've basically got like AI briefing process, and we've got an integrated editor where all of the assets are pulled straight into it, and then the reviewer process is baked into it, and then everything is done within platform, which makes it really, really easy. But with this graphic design layout generation, what we'll find is that it will take a designer anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes in order to just review what's been made, maybe make those final little tweaks, and then be able to publish. And the other thing also is that when you've got that human quality assurance, it's very different than just selling tech, right? Like what we're actually selling is human designers, whether on our team or on their team.
Okay, so what's the vision? Like long term, you build out this interface, that's great. You start shipping to customers, awesome, they love it. Long term, what is this, an agent that augments? Is it a part of the team? Is it something else entirely?
It's an operating system for performance marketing and for paid social. So it's basically everything is incredibly fragmented right now. So you've got you're storing your assets in a DAM or in Google Drive.
Dude, DAMs are the most complicated, outdated products I've ever seen in my life.
Right? Yeah, literally.
How do I go in? Why do I have to go in and make another iteration, log that iteration, and then make the new asset and then log that asset?
Literally. So anyway, super fragmented workflows. There's that, and then there's using tools like Motion in order to track performance, and then there's using tools like Frame.io in order to do reviews and leave feedback and stuff, and everything is just super spread out. And first step is just bringing all of those things into one platform.
How do you figure out what an operating system looks like for a user?
Oh, through talking to them every day, building alongside them. It's having them so involved that we're literally they all have Aaron's personal WhatsApp or mine, and we're literally just talking to them every single day.
Oh, legit. So it's like creative forward deployed engineers.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually one of the ways that we pitch it as well, is basically saying that it's like having your own bespoke dev team that are building for you. Because that's the thing, right? Which is that even though we were kind of a little bit in the space because of the fact that we'd had a brand and we'd run some ads, we weren't so in the space that we had the scale to experience the problems that a lot of these companies are using. So the best way for us to do it is to essentially be devs for hire.
Yeah, it makes sense, and then just build the AI around that.
Exactly.
Do you think do you think that operating system will have humans in the loop still, or it will be agents?
It will always have human in the loops.
Why?
I am against the notion that AI is meant to replace humans. I think of AI as the Batmobile to humans Batman. And I think that that's the best way that you can think about it. You need people for quality assurance. You can't actually have in the same way that you wouldn't allow your intern to publish things without checking it first.
I don't know. These days, the way that startups ship, maybe that happens.
I know, it's a bit like our intern, right? He's going crazy right now, trying to get in touch with Huel.
Talk to me about this. I've been seeing this online, right?
Yeah.
Why is it I'm seeing this everywhere at this moment? I was he's eating chicken wings with
it's
with hot sauce and then drinking Huel. What is that? Why?
He pitched it to us. I can't remember when, 2 weeks ago or something, and he basically said, "Oh, give me 30 days, I'll get in touch with Huel," and he's buying this is all we're eating, right? This is literally, he's buying industrial quantities of it in order to film this content, and he's cooking up some quite interesting stuff, but it's also so risky. I have no idea where it's gonna go, and he basically said, give me 30 days to get in touch with them or fire me, and we were all right. You know what? That's
Did he get in touch with them?
So they're interacting with the content. He's got a couple of their people in the DMs. It's very, very tentative, biting.
Interesting.
But it's early days. I'm not sure.
I'm curious. Why wouldn't you just reach out to Bartlett, given that he invested in you, and go I need the connection to Huel through the investor?
He didn't. He went out. He was actually
How
the first
interesting.
one to go out in when we were in the den.
You didn't grab a number just off the rip and be like, "Hey, look, I'm down the line. I think we're gonna have a conversation."
We're actually a degree of separation away from him, But at this point, like, I mean, it's also interesting because it gives us an opportunity to do something that we've always wanted to do, which is sales in public. It's essentially doing all of our outreach in public so that people see what it is that we're doing. So building in public is one thing, kind of talking about KPIs and talking about, milestones that you reach and stuff. But sales in public is very different. It's kind of like directed approaches, but broadcast to everybody. So it's like targeting them, but also showing everyone that you're targeting them.
So it's the process of doing sales, but you also show the end output.
Exactly. But you also show the failures, right? Like you can see that Huel is not properly responding to the content because you can see in the comments section. But what you see instead also, by the way, is other brands are seeing what it is that we're doing, and it's signaling that we're serious, that we're scrappy, but that we're serious, and it's I don't know. I think it's really exciting.
Where did that concept come from? Was it something that you've always wanted to try, or is it something new that you were just like, build in public, sales in public?
Honestly, it came after he had already started doing the Huel stuff. We were like, you know what, like build in public, sales in public, like why not? Like we were seeing other people bite that were not Huel. And that just made us think, actually, we should be doing all of our outreach in public. Like
when we look at a product like Huel, right? I'm assuming they have these in-house teams. They maybe work with some agencies from time to time. Those in-house teams feel more than ever like they're becoming incredibly high agency individuals, or they're hiring in that talent. How do you fit into that workflow?
Yeah, of course. So we streamline and automate everything, right? So a lot of these times with these in-house teams, they'll have, 5 or 6 different people that all need to have an input on what's going on. And there'll be someone who's doing creative strategy, there'll be someone who's doing actually like the briefing process, there'll be someone who's doing design, there'll be someone who's doing, delivery and like paid media buying, and then there'll be someone who's doing insights. And each of them are using different tools in different ways. And oftentimes what brands are doing is that trying to use kind of like low code automations or things like, Zapier or like NAN to like bring all those things together, which we know, are very, very powerful, but also not necessarily 100% reliable. And you still have to interact with each of those interfaces. And so step 1 is just bring all those things together. So we're bringing all those things together, and then step 2 is automate and just like scale.
When we have so many more ads in the world, what do you think that does to content, or just does to ads? Have you thought about that?
That's a really interesting question, actually. I think that one of the clear things that happens on ad platforms is that you can have as much content as you want, but if you don't have any good content, that won't be shown, that won't be displayed. All that will happen is that eventually CPAs will go up, or they'll start high, and then you won't be able to, it won't be sustainable for you to keep running those creatives. So I don't think more is necessarily a bad thing, because it kind of self-filters itself. It's like the crap stuff just won't be shown and won't be displayed, or it will be at a very, very, very high cost.
Are you betting that the models get better and better and better, and so the ads get better and better and better?
Yes. We're not just betting. Like we're basically feeding in the insight of performance into creative strategy, and then we're also, so one of the really exciting things about building a DAM is that what we can then do is we can track exactly which asset has had what performance in what context, and then use that with the performance insights in order to generate new briefs and in order to just iterate.
How important is the brief in all of this? Like I one of the first episodes I did in Ventures, when it was a podcast, before it transitioned into the live stream, was with Briefly, and they were doing smart briefs essentially for agencies like WPP, big FMCGs as an example, CPGs. How important is the brief to to making sure that creative is just 10 out of 10?
It depends. It depends on who's doing the briefing and who's doing the design.
Right.
If it's 2 separate people, then it's really important, especially if that designer is not in-house. So for the clients that are using our designers, that briefing process is really, really important. But again, it being in platform is hugely advantageous to us, because we can essentially. Have you come across linting?
I haven't. Explain.
It's a thing that's used in code to make sure that everything is kind of formatted properly. And
yes, I have. I vibe coded, and then it has to go through and lint that.
So we can essentially lint the briefs, and we can essentially make sure that all of the information that's required is within that brief. So basically, AI generates the brief, a human kind of checks it, goes in, edits it, whatever. If the copy is slightly off or whatever it is, we can then check it to make sure that all the information is required. For example, if they've requested all the aspect ratios that they needed, et cetera, and then that gets handed over with all the assets to the designer.
I've got to ask, it would almost be a disservice to not, and like, because the stream can't hear it, it's going to come out as clips. Is it weird working with your husband as a co-founder?
Not at all. I wouldn't imagine having it any other way. Like, I feel like, I don't know, people often ask me this, and they often say, oh, I would never be able to work with my spouse or whatever. And I'm like, actually, Aaron and I started building together pretty much since we met. So it's been our work dynamic and our working relationship is so ingrained in our romantic and out of work relationship. I don't think it would be possible for us not to work together at this point. And not just that, I also think that our working relationship, it wouldn't be possible for us to work if we weren't it wouldn't be possible for us to work on individual startups if we were, being in a relationship together. Because we would literally just never see each other, right? Like, we live and breathe this stuff. Like, we're working, 12 to 15-hour days, and we're always together. But if we were working on separate companies, we would just never be seeing each other. That's just, what that would mean.
What's your favorite trait about him, and what's your least favorite at this moment in time? Because I'm sure the vibes change from time to time.
Oh, at this time, what's my favorite trait about him? He just locks in and executes, and
the live streaming until getting to 10K MRR, I love.
Yeah, exactly. He just locks in and does it, right? And that's really, really great. And he's like, if there's a so he's probably amongst like the top 1,000, potentially 500 devs in the world, full stack devs in the world. And what that means is that if something can be done, he will figure it out and he will do it in a robust way. And I absolutely love that about him. What's my least favorite thing about him? I don't even know. Oh, well, I guess I do know, actually. So the fact that he's so locked in, it makes it difficult to discuss anything that isn't exactly what he's doing in that moment. But I also get it, right? It's kind of like if an emergency comes up, I have to then filter and judge, is it an emergency that he needs to hear about, or can we just pin it and deal with it later? That's probably, least favorite.
Is it weird bringing someone into this quote unquote relationship that isn't obviously in a romantic relationship with the two of you? Like take Luke as an example.
Yeah, honestly, at first we thought it would be weird. I think there's very, very few people who could work with a married couple in this kind of intense environment in the way that he's come in. But it's been such a blessing. Like, he kind of feels like our kid. Like, we've mentioned that like a couple times. Like, he kind of feels like our kid. And he's in it in the same way that we are, and that feels really great. Yeah.
Love it. What is the UK startup scene or the European startup scene missing that you feel like we need to have?
Oh, I think there's a culture that's missing.
In what sense?
So we're in a startup community here in London, and we're working.
Oh, don't worry, we're getting plugged on the show. That's a fact.
Yeah, you should. They're an excellent community, and they're just really, really great. And I really like being in this environment. I think it's so hard to find other communities that are like that. Like, it was difficult to even find Plugged in the first place, and I think that there's just not enough of a culture of like just working hard, locking in and grinding, essentially.
Do you kind of align to this 996?
Is that
it's 9 to 6? Wait, is it 9 to 6, 6 days a week?
No, I'm probably 9 to 8, 7 days a week.
Oh, madness.
Yeah.
It's 9 to 9, 6 days a week. So it's yeah. Zara just ships 24/7.
Yeah, we do. We have to, right? Like, we have to capitalize on this opportunity. There's no way around it. We just have to be doing this.
Speaking of capitalizing on opportunities, as I understand, you're on your way to San Fran at some point.
Yeah. We are.
Was it the residency program?
So we're on Delta Chapter 1, which is the 21-day residency program that they're basically watching you build in public for 21 days, and then they'll select 3 people for whom they'll pay the flights for, and they'll give you accommodation and facilitate a bunch of introductions. And we may or may not get that. I hope we will. We may not. We're booking flights anyway. So we're going to be there anyway. We just have to be there. It's
And so the
culture
program's
thing,
already started. It's now a matter
Yeah.
of when you decide to go.
The program's already started. It finishes actually this Sunday, and then I don't know when we hear back, but we don't want to wait to hear back to book our flights. So our flights will be booked anyway, and then we'll figure out the rest after that. We just want to be in that environment, in the SF environment. Like all of our friends who have gone there have just been, every single time they come back, the only reason they've come back is for visa reasons, and all of them are just trying to get back out there.
Yeah, culture feels different. It's an unbelievable place. It's a shame that we all end up losing our talent over there, but we always have to come back because of the visa problem.
Yeah.
But I still think Europe is an incredible place to build, and that's why we do the show.
It is. And I mean, I'm European, right? Like Europe always have a special place in my heart, and I know that whatever happens in SF, we'll be there, I don't know whether it's for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, but we'll be back here for sure.
Love it. Zara, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure we're going to rip through the team in terms of interviews. Luke's coming on, Aaron's coming on.
I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
I'm so sorry we've got connection issues, sound issues.
Okay.
The clips are going to go out with audio, have no fear. This has been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to do this again when we can do it with a product.
Yeah, me too. I'm so excited. Yeah.
I will speak to you soon. I'll see you Friday at Plugged.
Yeah, see you Friday at Plugs, of course. I mean, we'll be working, but we'll come get pizza.
Hey, I'm working as well, yeah? We don't just talk to people for a living. Cut me some slack just because I don't build products. Jesus. Can't be put into the same button. This is my work. Zara, see you soon. Ciao.
Speak